Hey, what's up, guys? It's Randall from OddsJam back with you today to give you my plus EV bet of the day in the NFL. So, there's a game that I found on the plus EV page that I really like from a handicapping perspective, as well as obviously a plus EV play. So, I'm just going to go through this play, tell you why I like it from a handicapping perspective, and then also show you why it is plus EV. So, scrolling down here on the plus EV page, for those of you that don't know, I'm located in Illinois, so don't have a lot of options. Very limited on what books I have, so that's why you do not see the BetMGMs, Twin Spires, WinBet. Um, do not have those books here in Illinois. So just going to get right to it. Washington versus the Raiders. The plus EV side is the under 50 in this particular game. If you've watched Washington these last couple of weeks, um, you can see that they have not allowed a lot of points. They gave up 19 points to the Bucks, 21 points to the Panthers, and 15 to the Seahawks. So we're starting to see this Washington defense really kind of become what they were last year, heading into the playoffs. And with that said, I really expect a big effort out of Washington this week defensively. If you look at the Raiders, one of the angles that I like in the NFL, anytime a team scores 35 or more points, I usually look to fade them the next week, as well as look at the under. So, Raiders played on Thanksgiving, beat the Cowboys 36-33. That meets the threshold of scoring 35 points or more. Back home here, I really believe, like I said, Washington has really hit their stride. I think that Washington 12-1 to win the NFC East has some value. If you look at the Cowboys' schedule, it's not exactly easy down the stretch. So, with that said, Washington's defense playing much more like the Washington defense that we saw last year. Vegas coming off of the big win at the Cowboys, I expect them to be a little flat in this spot. So it puts a lot of value on the under. Another thing that I've been monitoring the last couple of weeks here in the NFL is if you look at the anytime touchdown scores for these games, I've noticed that if there is not a heavy favorite in these particular games, or if there's not a favorite at all, it tends to lean to the under, meaning the under for the game. So in this particular game, at least when I looked earlier, we can take a look here on this particular game at the anytime touchdown scores on Barstool. I looked on FanDuel earlier. When I looked on FanDuel, there was not anybody that was a huge favorite. So, both running backs here, minus 139. Not extremely, a high juice here. And there's only two players that are favored to score. So when I looked on FanDuel, I believe both of these guys were minus 110, minus 115. So I think that there's something to this. I've been tracking it the last couple of weeks in the NFL. We'll see if that trend continues. But it seems like if there's very few guys that are favored to score, or none at all, it seems to be trending towards the under. So when you look at the odds on this game, the OddsJam perfect line makes the under 150 minus 146. The over is plus 128. So if you plug that into the no vig fair odds calculator, minus 146 plus 128 gives you 57.5% chance of this hitting. The true odds or the fair odds are minus 135. As you can see over here, we got minus 129. I threw $50 on that to win 39. So, like I said, I really expect this to go under. I think that Washington, continues to play well on defense. I really think that the Raiders will be flat in this spot. And Washington does not play at a very fast pace. This Raiders defense is not great, but Washington does not play a style of football that lends to a lot of scoring. So under 50 here, minus 129 on Barstool. If you take a look here, you can get under 49.5 as well. We'll just plug that in here, minus 137, plus 120. So the fair odds on this, minus 127, giving you a 56% chance of winning. And you're getting minus 121. So the under 49.5 is also a play. I do get some questions about what particular one would you play of these three. For me personally, I always like to, get as many points as I can. So that's why I went with the under 50 here. But all three of these are profitable bets. If these were three bets that you were looking to make on this game, but I usually just bet the one. I usually bet the one that's either the highest if I'm taking an under, or the lowest if I'm taking an over. So Washington and Las Vegas under 50, minus 129 on Barstool is going to be my plus EV bet of the day in the NFL. And, on a separate note, I really do like Washington to win this game. So it's not a plus EV play, but I do think that Washington wins this game against the Raiders. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back later.